lesson we were talking about inequalities and how we compare or write inequalities using clue words in order to make solutions to these inequalities. So we were able to determine if something was a solution to the inequality by using substitution and then reading this symbol and saying yes or no, it is a solution or is not a solution. Today what we're going to do is we are going to take this one step further and we are going to talk about what all of the solutions are or are not in graphing. So we're going to be using some number lines today when we are graphing an inequality. A graph of an inequality shows all the solutions of the inequality on a number line. So we're going to show all the solutions that are possible on a number line. We're going to be using open dots. And we'll be using closed dots. So we're going to have an open dot and a closed dot while we're graphing. We're also going to use arrows and arrows. Okay, so we will be using solutions or showing all the solutions on number lines using an open dot, a closed dot, and arrows. So what in the world are you talking about, Miss Englander? Well, let's talk about what I mean. So temperatures that are no less than 15 degrees Celsius. So here is our first example, and it says temperatures that are no less than -15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it wants us to graph or show all the solutions that are possible to temperatures that are no less than 15 degrees Celsius. So first we need to look at some clue words here. Our clue word that we can see is the word no less. No less is the clue word there. If we look back in our notes and find the word no less is no less than, we can see that we're using a greater than or equal sign. So we're looking for temperatures that are greater than or equal to -15 degrees Celsius. So temperatures that are greater than or equal to -15 degrees. We're going to take this and we are going to show that on a graph. So the way that we do that is we're going to create a number line. 0. Let's say there's 5, -5, -10, -15, all right, so no less than -15. So it can't be any less. So that means nothing on this side. It can be -15. So we're going to use a closed dot. The reason why we're going to use a closed dot is because it can include -15. It can be equal to -15, but then it's also no less than that. So it's going to include everything else that goes this direction. All those other temperatures. So we'll use a closed dot because it's equal to, meaning it includes it, but it also includes -10 degrees, -5 degrees. It also includes 5, 10, 15, and so on. And so because it can include everything to the right of the 0, we just use an arrow to show that. You can also see if you were to take this greater than sign, if you were to draw an arrow, your arrow points that direction. So you can also use that, and then this underline is equal to. So we're just going to use a closed dot. Okay, let's go on to the next example. In our next example, it says a fish is more than -3 meters below sea level. So example B, more than -3 below sea level. So when we write this out, it's more than -3 below sea level. So that means that the fish is more than -3. So lower than -3, which means that F has to be below -3. So our fish is below -3 below sea level. And so we're going to draw out again. We're going to draw out a number line. Okay, here's our number line. And first, let's start with -3. Our number does not include -3. It has to be less than -3. So because it's less than -3 and does not include it, we're going to use an open dot. So an open dot means is not equal to. Is not equal to. So it doesn't equal -3. It wants everything below -3. So all of these values to the left are less than -3. So when we graph this one, we're going to have an open dot and all the values to the left. If you look at this less than sign, the less than sign, if you were to just draw an arrow like that, you notice that your arrow's going this way. And again, it's an open dot because there's no line underneath it. It does not include it. Okay, let's do one more example. I'm going to turn the page so that we can see what this example looks like. On this example, it says to graph the inequality of G is greater than 2. G is greater than 2. So our first thought is we're going to look at this arrow. The arrow here, everything has to be greater than 2. It does not include 2. So not including 2. Which means that we're going to use an open dot, okay? Because it does not include it, we're going to use an open dot. And if you look at the arrow, you just draw those there. So now we're just going to graph everything bigger than 2. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could keep going on forever, okay? We don't want anything less than 0 though. So open dot on the 2 and everything that's greater than 2. It could keep going forever. Everything greater than 2. All right, so let's, we could do one more with a closed dot that matches this one. So less than or equal to. Let's do one more just so you can see that. So D, example D, this one is -3 is less than or equal to P. So all the values of P are going to be less than -3 or could be -3. So they can be -3 or they can be less than or equal to -3. 1, 2, 3. You can make your number line go up as much as you want, but let's talk about this. It can include, it's equal to, so because it's equal to -3, we're going to use a closed dot, and it's bigger. It's, or less than, than -3. So everything less than -3 is to the left. So closed dot with an arrow to the left, this one is graph. All right, it is your turn now for some try-its. Let's do some try-its and see if you can graph these inequalities. All right, so try-it number 1. I would like for you to graph when A is greater than 4. So show me a graph of A is greater, A is less than 4. I can't read today. What is going on with me? A is less than 4. And number 2, example number 2, we're going to look when N is greater than or equal to 0. N is greater than or equal to 0. Go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving. And then when you're ready, come on back and hit play so you can check your work. All right, so again, we're going to just draw a number line. And A is less than 4. We could even write this A out. A is less than 4. So we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 4. Here's 4. It's less than 4. So everything that's less than 4, everything less than 4, and we're going to use an open dot because it does not include 4. So 4 is not a solution, but everything less than 4 is a solution. So 3, 2, 1, all of these can be a solution that would make this true. All right, number 2. N is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. So yes, it includes 0. It includes 0 and everything bigger than 0. So the solutions to N could be 1, could be 2, could be 392. All of those solutions are greater than 0, so they equal a number line with a closed dot and greater than 0. All right, how are you feeling about graphing inequalities? How are you feeling about graphing inequalities? And then go ahead and put your level of understanding out to the side. When you're ready, you can come on back to the Google Meet and ask for help, or you can do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.